So the pastor gets up and does, addresses the crowd and whatever. And he goes, okay, now we're going to have Jason play Simple Man for you. And, 150 people in this banquet room turned towards me. And I went white as a ghost. I was just going to work it into my set. But here they made it like a special thing. And that one, that was a weird gig.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Solo Musician Podcast. I'm Dave Gates, your host. Today's guest is Jason Carst. Jason Carst is a local musician here in central Pennsylvania. He's known for live looping and covering a ton of different songs. And also, he live streams every single show. We just released a video a few days ago on YouTube covering his live stream setup as well as his gear setup that all condenses into 2 rolling boxes. So he can roll everything that he has for a show in and out, except for the guitar. It doesn't fit the cases. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. So here's Jason Carst.
The app that I use is pretty basic, though.
Yeah.
It gets the job done, but there's not a whole lot of gadgets built into it. But I'm sure there are apps out there that can...
It looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I saw you live streaming, I was like, Prism?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is a Prism?
Right.
And I immediately Googled. I'm like, oh, it's like a live stream app.
It's just a free app, and you just link it to your Facebook and YouTube, and I think it can do Twitch and
I didn't even realize it's free.
Yeah. To get like the basic stuff, I think there's a paid version, but I just do the free version. That's all I need. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, the audio, the video, like there's so many people that go live, and this isn't a dig at anybody who does this exact thing, but there's a lot of people that go live that it's just their phone on some tripod, and it's terrible audio.
Yeah.
Terrible. And the Wi-Fi's buffering the whole time.
Right. Yeah. You can tell I'm a musician because I just keep messing with the microphone.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we're good now. All right.
That's
yeah. So just setting a cell phone in front of your music, it's just not great. It's okay.
Right.
It gets the job done, but it can be much better. And in the video that we just shot of me walking through my pedal board, you can see that it's one $10 USB cable,
right,
from an audio interface of some kind. I'm just using a mixer right now, but I'm planning to upgrade that to a better quality sounding audio interface. And it's a USB cable you run to your phone or to your device, or probably to a camera like that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it just gives it the direct feed of the audio.
Wow.
And now it's mixed for the live room that I'm in, so that sometimes the video, it kind of sounds weird. There's a lot of reverb on those videos,
right?
But you can't hear that reverb live because it's mixed for the live thing. And sometimes I go back and listen to those videos. I'm like, man, there's a ton of reverb or a ton of delay on that you just can't hear live.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a caveat to it, unless you have somebody that's mixing your audio for you.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to escape that. So,
right.
So I mix everything to the live room. And whatever comes out on the video comes out on the video.
Yeah.
So
do you turn down your reverb a lot when you're playing in like? I know this is a very basic question, but whenever you're playing in live rooms, that are very bouncy and all that.
Oh, sure.
You just reverb's gone, and now people are like, "What's this is?" He can't hide
Sounds
anything.
Weird.
Yeah. He can't.
Yeah. No. I find myself messing with the reverb quite a bit actually, but like I said, the live thing, I don't know why there's so much reverb on those live videos, if you've been able to tell.
Yeah.
But in the live setting, maybe it's just the speakers I'm using that just don't convey that reverb as much. But yeah, in a boomier room, take Liquid Noise for example.
Yeah.
It's a concrete building basically. It's very echoey in there.
Yeah.
So I had to turn that reverb down pretty good in there.
I just played there a little while ago, and was it last
I
weekend
love it in there. Those people
something?
are great.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the guy, Justin. Is it Justin, the guy there? Yeah. So Justin came up and he was super nice.
Yep, great guy.
And the first thing I did when I fired up my rig was dump all of my effects. I was like, I got nothing on my vocal.
Oh yeah,
nothing on
because of the room.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because I was like, this is an echo chamber.
Yeah, you have to peel it back, and I peel off some highs on it too because it can get pretty echoey.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? It's the world we live in.
I was happy. I thought it was really loud. Like I was running my system hot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really loud. And at one point, one of them came up, like one of the waitresses came up and she's like, can you turn it up a little bit? And I was like,
you don't ever hear that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go a little bit. And I was plugged into the house too.
What speakers are you using?
So I still I still have my tried and true Bose L1 compact.
Yeah.
Just the bare bones, no
That's all you need.
Bluetooth, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then I have an EV Everse,
Okay.
8-inch. It's powered 1100 watt battery powered speaker. It has like a 12 volt out, and it's got a bunch of stuff. I use that for my monitor.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
So, because most of the time I can put the Bose behind me, but right now I'm using the Behringer XR, the X-Air mixer.
Yes.
So it's a wireless tablet
You
mixer.
like that thing, don't you? Yeah.
It's my favorite. I sounded very Southern. It's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. It's
Yeehaw.
No, I mean, I wasn't using it for the longest time. I was using like a little Behringer board that was like 4 channels, had no frills, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then I was getting my open mic rig ready. And I'm using that XR for open mics.
Yeah, because there's plenty of inputs.
So many inputs. I can record like right from the board.
Yep.
I can do everything. So I was getting it ready, and I took it out for a solo gig. And I watched the video back off of this thing, and I was like, I'm never not using that for a gig again.
Right. Right.
The effects that you can get on there, the Midas.
Did you plug it in directly so you're getting the direct sound? Or is it just the sound coming from the camera?
So it's both.
Okay.
But when and to be honest with you, I heard when I heard the sound from the camera on that little lapel microphone.
Yeah.
That was so great sounding.
Okay.
And then I like looked at the actual board audio, and I was like, it could be better, I guess.
Okay. All right.
So
interesting.
I was surprised, but now that I've had some time to mess with it, it's just so feature based. Like it has all of these different things that I didn't have before.
Yeah. A lot of these new mixers that are coming out have a lot of these effects built into it, which is something that wasn't available even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You might have had the reverbs, maybe a chorus effect or something, but I mean, now you can. Does it come with an app? You can control it with an app.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, and what I love about it
Just
most.
Take my money.
Just
shut up and take my money.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much I wanted delay on my vocal.
Yeah, I have a little bit of delay on mine as well.
Just a little, and it's this. I'll tell you what it does. Is it changes from sounding like somebody that's got reverb on their vocal to sounding like a professionally produced vocal.
Right, like John Lennon. John Lennon used a lot of delay.
Yeah,
a lot of them did.
You just
like
get
Johnny
a little...
Cash. Yep. Yeah, I have a touch of delay on mine, and it makes a big difference. It's not great when you're talking to the crowd,
right?
But they'll get over it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I love about the Behringer X-Air is like I have an iPad that sits on top of the Rogue case right behind me.
Yep.
I just, whenever I'm done with the song and I want to talk to them, I just mute the effect.
Yeah.
Just one
So does
button.
that have MIDI built into it too? Because you can put a pedal at your feet that can engage and disengage that, which makes it a lot easier.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know like 4 features on it so far.
Right.
I'm writing some incredible review. I barely have any idea what it does.
You're going to be an expert on it. I know it.
I've gotten a little obsessed. And then like the band, the reggae band that I'm in.
Yeah, I saw you introduce that today or yesterday.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Can't wait to check that out.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so much fun.
What's the name of the band again?
It's In a Vibe.
In a Vibe. Okay.
Yeah.
Check them out on Facebook, y'all. Check them out on Facebook.
Oh, man. It's such a great project. And in the practice room, we practice over at Rock Mill.
Okay.
So
that's great.
In the live room, they just installed an X32. So I'm like already familiar with the app because I'm running my X-Air. So like last time at practice, I'm like I'm doing all the sound stuff. And
That's great.
I'm like, this is awesome. And they're like, all right, yeah, Dave's doing it.
Dave's now the sound guy.
I'm like, all right,
Pay me more. Pay me more.
Yeah, right. Oh, dude, what a difference going from playing only solo acoustic shows to being the lead singer of the band and not having to touch a guitar.
Right. Oh, you're not playing any guitar?
I don't got to do any. Yeah.
Okay.
There's already 3 other guitar players. I'm like, I don't got to do. So I just
good for you, man. That's awesome. Stepping outside of your shoes a little bit, and that's how you feeling about it.
Well, it makes me. Yeah, the whole thing of what do I do with my hands?
Right.
That's most of what I do for the first like 20 minutes of practice.
Kind of doing this because you're so used to it.
Yeah. Well, and then I also listen to the other guitar players, and I go, I'm a fraud.
Yeah.
I can't play guitar at all.
Right.
Like I just.
Yeah. Come on. I saw you at open mic last week, Dave. You're all right.
Well, yeah. I got panicky. with that guy that I had to.
What was his name? I forget. He was funny.
Yeah. There was a guy, Tony?
Something like that.
I feel like
the
it's
piano
Tony.
guy or something like that.
Piano guy.
Yeah.
Key West piano guy.
Yeah. He was great.
For everybody listening, everybody elected me to get up and noodle with this guy. I don't noodle. I'm not a noodler. I have zero noodle ability. And they were like, "Hey, Dave's probably the most qualified to get up and play with this piano guy he's never played with before that wants him to play blues."
I'm a noodler, but I declined to get up there.
Yeah,
I was chicken.
I was like, "Jason will do it," and then he's like, "Nope, no, I will not."
Sorry about that.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah,
because it scared the shit out of me, and I wanted to do it because it scared me. Like that's the whole. I was like, okay,
I can understand that.
Now I gotta. Okay, all right, let's see how bad this is.
You just hit it and do it, and whatever the outcome. That guy was. Who cares?
He was angry at the end. Did you see that?
No.
I don't know. Well,
he was mad at you.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think he was. Now I don't know that for sure. But
he seemed like such a nice guy.
He was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But like afterwards, I'm like, "Hey, you want any help tearing stuff down?" He's like, "No, I got it." I'm like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Hey, man, great job." And he's like, "Yep." I was like, "Okay, cool. All right." You were very talkative before we got up there. I'm sorry for my mediocre playing.
You said he's from Key West.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a new guy to the area.
You know what he said?
He was great.
He said he plays 5-6 days a week down there, 3 shows a day.
I believe that.
$1,500 a day is what he said he makes.
I believe that. I don't know about the money part of it, but I believe him playing multiple times a day. I know a couple people in Ocean City that play 3-4 times a day. They only do it like 4 days a week and then sit on a couch for 3 days because you have to recover. But
Justin Angelo was a guy from our area that moved down there.
I remember him. Yeah. Moved to Key West.
Key West. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're in a climate like that, I mean, there's outdoor live music. There's a lot more opportunities for live music,
and the crowd rotates.
Yeah. Every week, it's a whole new set of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing in Ocean City. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Key West. I do
too.
I got roofied in Key West.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's we ended up doing karaoke at some gay nightclub.
Oh boy,
it was. I just see pictures, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I was there, but I wasn't there. It was. I was shark eyes at the Irish bar downtown.
Yeah, Irish Kevin's. Yep, love
shark
Irish
eyes.
Kevin's. Yeah,
there's nothing. There was nothing behind me.
The first time I was in Key West, I've probably been there 4 times, maybe 5 times. And the first time we were there, we went to Irish Kevin's, and there was a guy that got up on stage, solo acoustic guy, and there was like 6. They lined up 6 or 7 Guinnesses on the stage, right in a row, and he slammed every single one of those. I think he drank like 3, did a song, drank 3, did a song, and then like drank 2, all in like 20 minutes. He put 7 Guinnesses down, 8 Guinnesses down.
Oh my God.
And he just turned into this drunk, funny Irish guitar guy. And we had like the best night ever. Like how he even survived, I have 2 beers and I'm like, oh my God, I think we're going to fall over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was incredible. I don't know how the guy does it. He's probably not alive anymore, but, but it was a fun night.
You want to know, I think, you know what's awesome about that is that he's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just put out this YouTube video about Facebook, and a lot of my friends that are like, I don't get any engagement on Facebook. I post something, nobody sees it.
Right.
I'm guilty of. I've said that, and then I look around and I'm like, if you post something about Trump tomorrow,
it blows up.
200 comments. Everybody
or some girl in a bikini.
Yes.
I scroll and I just see like a girl in a bikini and it'll have 200,000 likes on it.
You got it.
I'm like, really?
You didn't have to have a caption.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a girl running on a beach.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's cheating.
You know what that told me is that no matter what you do, how you do it, no matter what it is, if you make it entertaining or engaging,
sure. If
you just drink 6 beers, 7 beers while you're on stage,
that's enough to get attention.
You're gonna have people talking about what you did. That's why I think
that was 20 years ago, and I'm talking about it now because it was that incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's when it comes to, especially when you're a solo musician, everybody expects you to be able to play the songs. Nobody, like I said in the video, no booker. Whenever I've reached out to them to play somewhere, no booker has ever been like, "So you can play guitar?" No, they ask how many people you're going to bring.
Right.
They ask what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and
they don't care.
They don't care if they assume you can play.
Yep.
So to stand out whenever you send them an email, Don't tell them, oh, I've been playing for 20 years. You don't need to say any of that.
Right.
Just be like, here's links to me playing. I'd love to play there.
Yeah. It's like Jimmy Fallon, where he takes celebrities down in the subway and they dress up in costumes and they start playing and nobody cares.
Nobody.
But as soon as they unveil the mask and it's Bono,
right.
then they get 4,000 people immediately around them, and it's wild. It's like he's doing the same damn thing he was doing 2 minutes ago.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I found that with my videos. Like I used to post full videos of me playing.
Yep.
And not so much like my live streams are always, I'm not going to be starting and stopping after every song.
Right.
But like
just let it run.
Yeah. But like if it's an actual video of me playing, I used to post like the full thing. Right. And it wouldn't get a whole lot of vision. Like it wouldn't get shown to a lot of people.
Do you do the reels now, just the 30-second clips? That's something I need to get better at. Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. I also fully understand exactly where I stand. I'm a middle-aged, overweight white guy playing cover tunes in a local bar. You're only going to get, in my opinion, I'm only going to get so much attention and attraction, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And that's all I've ever set out to do was just be who I am, which is exactly that.
Who do you think you appeal to? Do you think it's the middle-aged white men that are playing songs?
Yeah, it's a lot of people that are my age that. 90s was kind of their era. We grew up with the Grateful Dead, in the 90s, and Fish, and, kind of the jam bandy type of people. A lot of those people come out to my show, which is great. And I get a lot of older people too in their 60s for whatever reason, because I play a lot of classic rock.
Oh, yeah.
And they come out and they'll sit at a table with their friends and hear this younger kid, quote unquote, playing classic rock. And then the next time I play, they'll bring a couple friends with them. The next thing I know, it's like a table of 10 people in their 60s, and they're great and they love it and they're appreciative of it. Yeah. And, I think it's because they're just getting too old to do it, and to follow their people. They're just they're just at an age where they're not doing it as much. So to see somebody that's 20 years younger that playing their music, I think really hits home with them a lot.
There's a connection there.
Yeah, and a lot of them follow me on Facebook. These older men and women,
dude,
that are all in. They love it.
It's great to have anything that is like, I wouldn't call it your specialty.
Yeah,
but like have something that you're like, that's my group.
Right.
Like I've got, a lot of people that come to see me, they expect to see 90s hip hop. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll play Tupac, and I'll play like, that's the only, I enjoy the music.
Sure.
But I'm like, I guess that's my crowd.
Right.
See,
it's tough for me because I like the 90s hip hop too, but I'm a looper. Right. So I love jamming. I love playing guitar. So it's, a lot of music from like 90s and on is hard to jam to, quote unquote.
Sure.
But a lot of that 60s and 70s music is just wide open for interpretation and improvisation and whatever. So that's why I'm just drawn more to that, and it draws that older crowd.
I like it.
Yeah.
I know Colin tells me all the time, I don't know if you'll relate to this or not, but it made me laugh pretty hard.
Colin's amazing, by the way. Colin Alvarez. Good job.
So good.
Keep up the good work, brother.
Yeah, check out Colin Alvarez. He said that because he's a noodler, right?
Yeah.
He's a
fellow noodler.
And not even, I guess I don't know if I would call him a noodler. He's got very good guitar skills.
Yeah. He's great.
And so with him being like a larger bearded guy that can like shred really well, most of the time the people that come up to him are like also large men with beards that are like, that you kill it. He's like, it's never like the girl in the corner that's like, you're so good.
Right. Come on, dad bods are in, man. I'm telling you. I got you, Colin. But no, I get that too. I get a lot of the beer drinking, bearded guys that are my age coming up, be like, man, you're like playing my set list. This is great. Every song you played tonight is exactly what I'm going to listen to on the way home in my car.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Yeah.
Do you play, this is a random question. Do you play Taylor Swift?
No,
Taylor Swift?
I don't. I should.
Okay.
Because I get it requested a lot, but I should learn at least one or two songs that can appeal to like some kids.
Yeah. That's
just to make the parents happy kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
not good at that. I need to get better with that.
Anything from, like, I have any girl from or boy, I guess if they like it, that's like 10 years old to like 30, 35, man, you play a Taylor Swift song and
they go nuts.
They're ready to punch their parents. Okay. They're like flipping tables. Like it is.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Every time I'm at the beach, every time I play at the beach, I get a Taylor Swift request.
Okay.
And as soon as I play it, the dance floor will fill.
That's crazy.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Do you reggae it up, or you just kind of play it straight?
I play it well. I guess I do. I would almost say that I cake it up. I turn it into a cake song.
I got you.
I do Love Story, and I do You Belong With Me.
And you do it in that low register voice like that?
Somewhat. Yeah. I take it up just a little bit, but I'm definitely not where she is.
Right. Right.
But and then I guess I do maybe reggaify it a little bit. I chucka it a little.
I love the chuckas.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the chuckas.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says chuckas.
Oh yeah. This might be a great place to say this. Colin Alvarez, whenever we were talking the other day, he said something that really stuck out to me, man. And I think that you're going to understand what this means because you know so many lead licks.
Mm-hmm.
I was at guitar practice.
I act like I do. I fake it.
I was at guitar practice with Colin, and because I take lessons from Colin, right?
Okay. Yep.
So Colin is teaching me some leads and some like
scales, and
basically, pentatonic over whatever,
right?
Major scales. So I'm starting to play. He's like, I'm going to play 4 chords. You just whatever you feel like playing.
Okay.
You just play, and he's playing these 4 chords over. I think we're in like a G, E minor, C, D kind of progression.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I could noodle over this. So I'm like starting to noodle. And he just stops. And he's like, all right, try again. So I'm like, he starts playing, and I just start, and I'm like jumping around as much as I can. And he just stops again. He's like, stop noodling and say something.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a perfect shirt.
Right. Stop noodling and say something. That is a good shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think Miles Davis said, what did he say? He said it's the space between the notes that makes the music, not the actual notes.
Yeah.
And the way I approach soloing is like a conversation. So if I were just to sit here and conversate like this to you all night, and I would never take a break, and I would never stop talking, and I would just keep going like this all the time, it gets really annoying after a while, right?
Right.
But if I have some system to it where I talk like this, and then I might make a point like this,
and
then I talk like this. You know what I mean? You can see like the room just got tense real quick.
It's dynamic.
So if you can approach soloing like that. Now, sometimes I might just get too into it and I just end up noodling my ass off because it just happens if I'm having fun or whatever. But I try. A lot of it is compression, just holding yourself back to make those statements on a guitar or an instrument.
That's a great way to put it, man.
Yeah.
And
there's too many guys that do this and just think they're cool, and they just do it like this all night, and everybody talks about how great they are on guitar, and I'm just like, I can't stand to listen to this guy. I don't want to name drop here, and this isn't a local guy.
Yeah.
But I think I'm the only person in the world that cannot stand Derek Trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Because he just overplays the living shit out of everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there's all these beautiful songs that him and Susan Tedeschi make, and then it launches into a solo by him, and it loses me instantly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one on the planet.
Is it too much talking?
It's there's not enough feel in his playing, in my opinion. It's too much. Hey, everybody, look what I can do. And I can't get behind those kind of people. Yeah. I can't do it. Yeah.
I loved it.
This might be another controversial thing. I haven't heard one note that has hit me yet by Billy Strings.
Oh.
Dude is phenomenal talent.
He's very good.
He's a hell of a nice guy. He is his direction and everything. I love the guy to death. But when he starts playing, he goes, and I can't. It's like, dude, where's the emotion here? There's no emotion in it,
right?
To me,
no, it's a lot of meth and
yeah. But I mean, he's probably one of the most phenomenal guitar players I've ever seen in my life, right?
Yeah.
But it's just I need music for the emotion, not for you to just showcase your talents,
right?
If that makes any sense.
No, yeah. Perfect.
So that's how I try to approach my little corner of the earth in my little solo acoustic thing. Is like, I'm not trying to show you how good I am or how good I'm not. I'm trying to, the emotions that I get out of this music, I'm trying to just convey that to you as well,
right?
And that's kind of the approach that I take with my music. Very seldomly will I jump up on a table and shred some guitar solo as fast as I possibly can just to show you how good I am.
Right.
I'll never do that. Like, I want you to be in the moment with me, feeling the emotions that I'm feeling
right
in that moment. And that's my approach to my little.
It makes perfect
corner.
sense. I loved it because whenever he said that, I immediately understood what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh. And then he's like, yeah, start with 3 notes. Start with 3 notes and then add 1 note each time we come back around. And then it just left all that room for me to be like, oh, what am I trying to say?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
you'd be amazed what you can accomplish with 3 notes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like he said, another great point that he had for soloing was approach your solos like you're singing it.
Yes.
Like, make it a melody that you would sing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that is going to change your solo game, like, by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
If it's something that you could picture somebody singing to that, then you're actually playing something that is speaking.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Going back to it, it's just like having
crazy.
a conversation.
Yeah.
It's just like having a conversation. There's a certain tempo to it.
Right.
A certain pace to it that if you're below it or above it, it doesn't land. But if you're right in that space, you can really drive it home.
Right.
Yeah.
So local music stuff, man, because I got to ask you, because I'm hearing a lot of my friends say this, and a lot of just the scene guys right now in our area. How do you feel about solo gigs in our area right now? Are they drying up? Is it a recession of solo gigs? Are you finding it harder to get bookers to answer? I'm hearing a lot of mixed things, so I'm trying to get everybody's temperature.
Yeah, that's a multi-tiered question, I think. I think a couple things are going on, and some things are good and some things are bad. Obviously you've covered this subject a lot, but the BMI and ASCAP things harping down on a lot of these venues. We could talk all day and all night about that. Some venues I talk to, that's why they just don't want to pay it, or whatever it is, and whatever. Again, we could talk about it all day and all night, and I think that's a small part of it. Another part of it, which I think is a very good thing, is I think with this explosion with the CPMAs, is bringing a lot of musicians out of the woodwork.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we're having a huge influx of solo musicians, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic, but it's also flooding the market, quote unquote. And a lot of them that are, again, this isn't negative at all. This is a very positive thing because our music scene is growing. A lot of them are playing for a lot less money.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And selling themselves short. And if there's any tidbit I can give you is don't sell yourself short.
Right.
You know your worth. Don't play a gig for $100 if you think you're worth $300 or whatever it is. So I think what's happening is a lot of these players are playing them for cheaper and getting booked over kind of the old dogs that have this kind of set price.
Right.
Which it's great. The audience is seeing a lot more live music from a lot of new people. I mean, every day I see somebody new online that's local that I've never heard of before.
Yep.
Which is fantastic. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Right.
You kind of just knew who everybody was and whatever. But again, that's not a bad thing. That's a very, very good thing. I don't know what else. I see, the full band thing is kind of going away. I see a lot of people aren't having full bands. I mean, I remember back in the day having a full band in Copper Pub.
Right. Yeah.
Just a little space like that. We would cram 4 musicians in there and blow the doors off the place. And not to say anything about Copper Pub because I love them over there, but they don't do full bands really anymore.
Right.
So a lot of the full band spaces are falling by the wayside, which is good for us solo musicians. But yeah, that's how I see the scene changing. Yeah. Again, some good, some bad.
Right.
But it's just the way it is.
Yeah. I know I meet, like at the open mics when I go to them, I meet tons of new musicians every single time.
Right.
Every single time. It's like
just in the past year or two.
Yeah.
And I think it's CPMA's doing a hell of a job of creating platforms and teaching people and providing information. And it's great.
I think it's partially them. I think there's a lot of COVID guitarists.
Yes. That's another thing
that are now, they're in their second year, they're in their third year.
Yep. You're right. I never thought about that.
I mean, that's most of the origin stories I hear at open mics right now are, I picked it up whenever it was COVID. I didn't really have anything. Like, that's most of the origin stories I'm hearing. So
I think another thing too is gear's getting cheaper. So for you to go put a live performance on, it used to cost $1,000, $2,000. But now I think you can get it all done, all in for $500.
Right.
You can have a $250 guitar and a $150 speaker.
Yep.
And a couple cables and plug in and play your set.
Oh yeah.
Which,
And
another thing, that's good. That's good. We shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars to do what we want to do.
I agree. I think we should have as many musicians as possible because it gives the diversity to the area. I also 1,000,000,000% agree with what you said about pricing.
Yeah.
Like when you're new in this, you may not know what to charge.
Sure.
And that's why I'm always like, hey, if you get a chance to go out to an open mic and ask the other local musicians what they're charging, it's the best way to keep the rates good for everybody.
Right.
Because if everybody's charging the same thing, I did this with DJs a long time ago.
Yep.
Like whenever I was a DJ, I'm like, what are all the other DJs charging? Oh, you're charging $100 an hour for a wedding?
Right.
I'm like, now it's like $200 or $300 an hour for a wedding.
Yeah, maybe more.
Probably more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, you're charging $100. Well, I've only been charging $50.
Right.
And I'm like, no wonder I'm getting all the work.
Right. Right. And it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And I think another thing too, I think a lot of things that get left out of the conversation is patrons, the fans, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say it enough. Get out and support your local musicians.
Oh yeah.
Get your ass off the couch.
Yeah.
And go experience some live music.
I agree.
You don't have to sit there and rack up a $100 bar tab to go out and check out some live music. Go in there and drink Diet Coke and eat a couple wings. Have your bill be $20-$30. Support the musician. Throw them $5 or $10 on your way out the door, and you have completed the circle. Everybody wins.
Yeah,
everybody wins.
Yeah,
the venue, the artist, you, everybody.
Right.
You know, get out of the house.
Yeah.
Get out of the house and go do it. And you know, if we can fill up these music venues again on a regular basis, it's going to help everybody. It's going to help everybody.
Yeah.
And so
I think we went through a phase. I talked about this on the podcast before, I think, but I think we went through this phase where after COVID, we had a million places to play as solo musicians because so many people started doing music outside, music inside. Like people that were having bands stopped having bands.
They got
started
creative.
Having solo people.
Yeah.
So there were so many places to play, and then a flood of solo musicians. And now the economy, with it not being that awesome and it being like, I know like there are some places where you can get wings and everything else. But if you and your girlfriend want to go to a brewery or a winery to watch somebody play, sometimes it's a $50 to $100 bill.
It's
For
crazy.
you to have.
It's crazy.
The hell, half the time the appetizers are $14.
Right.
So it's like, so you.
I think that might have a bigger part to do with it than what we think. That keeps people at their house.
I see that. I would say that I see that at the places that I play that are more affordable.
Yeah.
I have a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
And it's like across the board, doesn't matter what part of the state or other state, any place that I play that's affordable, the crowd always packs in there.
Absolutely.
And then it's like,
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. The more expensive places, I'm like, why did you have me here?
Right.
Like I'm playing to 4 people at the bar right now.
Right. But those 4 people are paying $200 each for a,
there
whatever,
you go.
an amazing experience. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a big fan of playing the Legions, the VFWs. Where it's $1.50 for a beer, and those people are great. They're great. We have the best time ever. They tip well. They request songs all night. They're very engaged.
Do you play nursing homes at all?
I played it one time.
Yeah?
One time, and it was the weirdest gig of my life, but it was very rewarding. It was eye-opening. They loved it. I think my spectrum, I'm just outside of that music genre.
Okay.
I'm just outside of it. I know like 1 or 2 Elvis songs and 1 or 2 Johnny Cash songs, something that can relate to that older crowd, but I think I'm just outside of that.
Now, was that a while ago?
That was probably 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years?
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that.
I had a buddy playing. Well, I have a friend of mine, Leon. Shout out to Leon Broski.
Mm-hmm.
He plays primarily nursing homes.
And I know 1 or 2 people that do it too. Yeah.
Yeah. He's up in like the northern tier, and he's like, what blew me away was he plays a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like, he makes a good living off of it. He's like, you're never going to find a more attentive crowd.
How old is he?
He's, I would say that he's probably, I don't want to misquote. I would say that he's probably north of 50. I'd say he's probably 50 to 55.
So I think there's like a huge cutoff at like 45 years old. So I'm a millennial by 1 month. So a millennial starts January 1st of 1982, and I was born February of 1982. So I think so I'm a millennial. So it's technically a millennial trying to play to somebody that's
a good point.
80 years old.
Yeah,
I can do it. I can fake it. Yeah, maybe.
He was making jokes because he was like the primary music that he plays. He's like, they want to hear Bon Jovi. They want to hear.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, what?
That's getting to be that age too.
That's what he said.
Yeah, which is crazy. I think another thing about this gig is you can do a gig at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So
I mean, you can do those. If you can get into the right vein,
right,
you can play every day in the morning before lunchtime.
Yeah. I had a place reach out to me, Cross Keys, down in New Oxford. It's this retirement community.
Yeah.
They reached out and wanted to book me to come play. And I just this was 2 years ago. And I think I literally messaged them back and was like, I appreciate it. I do not think I would be a good fit.
Right.
Because I play primarily 90s. And then I'm like, I probably got 2 hours worth of like Beatles and Elvis and...
Sure. You can get by with
Marty Robbins. Like I could probably play some older stuff.
I know, like Hank Williams Sr. Yeah.
So I think if that opportunity ever came back around, old people love me for the most part. I
think old people love everybody for the most part.
That's a good point.
But you're a lovable guy,
that's a
Dave.
Great point.
Not to downplay you.
No,
that's
that's a very good point.
Yeah,
they're just happy to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they're happy with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't regret doing that retirement home gig, and they were supposed to book me back some more, and I think the person I booked with left there or something. I don't remember, but I would do it again.
Yeah,
it is rewarding. I mean, to see somebody that's possibly wheelchair bound that is on the back nine of their life,
right?
Obviously, and to see them smile, at something you're doing, it's very rewarding.
You ever play This is just Ask Jason Weird Questions Day.
Go ahead. Shoot.
You ever play a funeral?
I did.
Yeah?
This past year, I played a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are interesting.
So it was the after party, quote unquote. Yeah, and they were super nice people. It was very odd for me to play to a bunch of somber faces.
Yeah.
But
what'd you open with?
I don't remember.
Don't Fear the Reaper?
No.
You left that one out?
I did. Yeah. I did a 12-minute solo on that one. No, it was a good gig. Nice people. It was just the energy was weird, obviously. It's the first time I've ever done that. But the gentleman who passed away was a huge music fan. Like he loved the Allman Brothers. He loved, all that classic rock stuff. So I think it was one of those things that was in his will that he wants live music at his funeral. I think is how it came about. And it was great. And it was funny. And they came up to me beforehand. And they said, hey, his favorite song was, oh my God, what's the Skinner song? Simple Man.
Oh yeah.
So like just sometime throughout the event, can you play Simple Man? Yeah, absolutely. No problem. So the pastor gets up and does, addresses the crowd and whatever. And he goes, okay, now we're going to have Jason play Simple Man for you. And, 150 people in this banquet room turned towards me, and I went white as a ghost. I was just going to work it into my set, but here they made it like a special thing, and that one, that was a weird gig.
Yeah,
that was a weird gig, but it was great. The people were nice, and overall it went very well.
I've had to play a couple. I played a wake. I've played a living wake.
Wow,
those aren't fun.
Yeah,
I understand the necessity, and I understand the point behind a living wake, but for the entertainer, those are, especially if you don't know the people,
right?
It is I'm glad to be there to facilitate a great time and make sure everybody's having the time of their life,
Sure,
but
that's our job.
There is a background hum of why we're all gathered there that it's just very hard to shake and find motivation to play Sweet Caroline. I'm
right,
guys, right now,
we do some gigs where we're the main event,
right?
Most of our gigs, I would say, we're secondhand. Maybe we're just atmosphere in a bar, but something like that, you're about 5th on the list.
Yeah, and I want to be 20th on the list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's. The further down you get that list, I think the weirder we feel as musicians, because it's, Yeah, it can be tricky. I've done one of the weirdest gigs I ever did was a trade show breakfast. There was like 300 people in a room, and it was at 7:00 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Oh no!
At 7 in the morning, like the sun's barely up, and I'm strumming Jimmy Buffett. And it was a formal event, so I was like dressed to the nines, and it was a friend of mine. She plays cello. She moved to Texas, but she came and sat beside me for the gig too. Thank God she was there, because it would have been more awkward. But it was just her and I at 7 a.m. to a bunch of business goers at some forum or whatever the hell it is. That was another weird one. I have lots of weird gigs,
dude. I can't even imagine 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
having to be like, wasting away. They're like, just trying to eat their eggs.
Yeah, unloading your car at 5:30 in the morning. Loading in. It was very strange.
I played. I'm lucky enough to be going back this year because they reached out. Tidewater Property Management. They're out of Baltimore.
Okay.
Right? So they have this big company party that they do every year.
Okay.
Down at Linganore Wine Cellars. It's in Maryland. It's like Mount Airy, that area.
Okay. Yep.
So I played it last year, and I was so there's a couple hundred people. They've rented basically the whole winery, which is a bunch of different buildings.
Yeah.
I'm out in the pavilion. I see it start filling up with people. It's like 11 in the afternoon or 11 in the afternoon. That's a real thing. It's like 11 in the morning, and there's tons of people. It's all the office staff of this real estate company. I'm like, all right, this is going to be like a company party, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like playing a little bit, and this lady comes up, and she's like, I looked at your site online. Can you play Get Low by Lil Jon? Oh, boy. And I'm like,
yeah, we got to be careful what we put on those song lists.
I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's okay. So they're like, oh, Stacy, which is the lady that booked me. They're like, Stacy said it's fine. I'm like, cool. So I start playing that for the next hour and 35 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
The dance floor did not empty.
Wow.
It was nothing but like Nelly and Bismarck. It was nothing but like all the hip hop hits.
Kudos to you, Dave.
They lost their freaking. I was like, is this a company? Do you guys know your bosses are here right now? Like,
wow.
But it was so much fun, and I didn't expect that at all because most of the corporate parties I play,
it's weird.
They're corporate. The people are like, we got prime rib and a cover artist. Great.
Right.
Thank you. Where's my bonus?
Yeah. Right. I'm getting out of here as soon as I eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm taking some to-go containers.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another weird gig I did. It was at a country club in York. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And they booked me for 4 hours, and it was just playing on their patio for dinner on like a Wednesday or Thursday. Very standard gig. It might have been, I think it was 3 hours. So I get to the venue, set up on the patio, and nobody comes out yet. Everybody's inside. So I just start playing. Well, 3 hours go by, and not a single person came out on the patio. Not one. Not even a wait staff.
What?
I don't think they knew that I was there. It was an 80-degree, 75-degree day in the middle of the summer, and not a single person came out to the patio. The whole inside was packed.
They're like, we booked him for inside.
Yeah, and I couldn't even believe it. So I'm a looper, right? So I just started looping a song and just let it play for like 25 minutes because nobody was coming out.
You might as well.
It was one of the easiest gigs I've ever done in my entire life. And then I got done, and the manager comes out finally, and they're like, "Man, you're great. You're great. We want to have you back."
You're like, please don't.
I'm like, there's 120 seats out here. Not a single person came out to sit down on the world's most beautiful day. Like, what is going on? But
dude,
I have stories, man.
Country clubs. Well, that country club that you got into last year down there in York that I was playing at.
Yes.
So
Heritage Hills.
Yeah. So they are. I reached out to them in a weird turn of events because I've been playing there since 2019.
Okay.
And I reached out to them, and whenever it was time to book, and I told them that I was no longer interested in playing there, and not because like Zach, the guy that books there, phenomenal person,
okay,
great guy. They pay extremely well. The crowd there sucks, and I don't know how else to say it.
Really? So I only played there once, and I felt the crowd was great.
See, now, and that's the thing, is it's so different for different musicians, right?
Yeah, it might have just been, it was really packed that night. So maybe there was some event going on or something. I don't know.
You know what?
It was very busy.
Here's
too.
what I'll say, is that it's been very busy there before.
Yeah.
And I've made $0 in tips.
Wow.
It's been dead there before.
You got to show a little more cleavage, Dave.
Yeah. I just told Zach, and I'm like, I love him.
Yeah.
But I was like, playing there, a lot of my friends won't come there because the stuff's a little expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're
it's a little on the pricier side.
A little salty.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then on top of that, I either don't get tips, or that's the place where the guy threw his cigarette in my tip jar whenever, like years ago, and it burned my tips up. And then they just stood there and laughed about it.
Wow.
Like a bunch of fucking rich assholes.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
interesting.
What it made me realize is that there's some places that at my, like where I'm at right now, I just don't fit it.
You're right.
It doesn't mean that
and
other
that's
people
a real
don't,
thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah.
But it was a realization for me this year that I was like, I could definitely go back there, but every time that date would come up on the calendar, I'd be like, oh, son of a, and I don't want to do that. I'm like, if I was going to do that, I'll get a job.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I got to play here tonight.
Yeah.
But you quickly remember why you're doing it.
Yeah. And what else you could be doing.
Yeah, and it's easy to snap back out of that.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something to be said about not being the right fit for places.
Yeah.
And other places you excel at.
Right.
So there's the other side of the coin.
Yeah. I like to bow out if I have the chance. Like if there's a place where I'm like, this isn't good for either of us.
Yeah.
Like your clientele doesn't like me.
Sure.
I'm not really a big fan. I'll try my best to just kind of be like, okay, whenever bookings come around again, thank you.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, I'm busy, or like I'm booked for the year. Now I'm just because I'm like, we have a relationship. You put faith in me. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
It just is.
Like, hopefully at some point we can work together again, but right now is probably not the great time.
Right. Yeah.
So,
you just say, I appreciate you reaching out. I just don't feel it's the right fit.
Yes.
There's some places I play, I have a hard time just getting people out to it.
Yeah.
And I say that too. It's like, I don't know why, but I can't, maybe it's a little too far away from where my core people are, or whatever, quote unquote. But transparency is key.
How do you feel about, we should have like a bomb to throw for this topic.
Oh boy. All right.
How do you feel about the bringer shows that have been popping up? And specifically, I'm gonna call out a place because I think that it kind of deserves it. Because I'm very good friends with the people there. Maybe I won't. No, I'm not going to mention names, I guess.
Yeah, you don't need to mention names.
So there's two venues in our area that have gone, that one of them completely gone to it. The other one floated the idea of having you get a percentage of the alcohol sales and not food, because neither location really has food. So you get a percentage of alcohol sales, and that's your only guarantee. There's no guarantee money.
Right.
So it's like you bring out people, and the one place is like, we'll give you 20% of all of our sales for the night. So if you bring out, enough people and you do $1,000 in sales,
sure,
you get $200,
sure,
whatever.
I mean, I see both sides of it,
because it's business, right?
Very much.
Yeah.
It's business. I think there would need to be a couple more layers to that. If I was going to do a deal like that, I would say you have to promote it in this such a way, and I have to promote it in this such a way. For starters, number two, I don't know. Not every business owner is super trustworthy. So what if they do $5,000 in sales and they only tell you they did $2,000 in sales?
Right.
So there would have to be some kind of system in place where it's full transparency.
Right.
Like I would literally want a receipt from the cash register that night, or some some kind of hardcore evidence just to get rid of any kind of issue of trust.
Right.
But that's a tough one. I've never done a gig like that. And maybe if they did a small guarantee, like, hey, we'll pay you $100 just to come down, just to how I price my gigs is it's X amount just to have me show up.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing $5,000 worth of equipment. There's gas. There's time away from my family.
Right.
When my children were younger, we'd have to find babysitters sometimes for me to go do a gig. So there's like a base price that I have to get just to show up.
Right.
And then it's X amount of dollars per hour for me to play is the way that I would price it. So maybe if there was just some kind of fee that I would charge just to get me to show up, and then I only take 10% after that fee.
Right.
Or something like that. So I think maybe you can meet in the middle somehow with that. But to just do a flat rate, like you're either getting $0 or $300 tonight. Like it doesn't make financial sense for me to do that.
Yeah. I couldn't
as a solo acoustic musician.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bring 100 people out and sometimes I bring 0 out. It's just the day, the time, the place, the hour, depending on what it is.
Right.
And there's 0 consistency to it. 0, none. There's some gigs I go to where I'm like, wow, tonight's probably going to be a little slow, and I show up and there's 25 people from my high school that have never seen me before. They're coming out. There's just no rhyme or reason for any of it.
Right.
It's too much of a risk for the musician, I think. But if there was just some kind of base package, base fee, that if it is a flop of a night, at least it's not really hurting the business owner because it's a small fee. Maybe it's only $100.
Right.
But I can still justify the cost of me as the musician going and doing that gig.
Yeah.
So I think some kind of hybrid between those two, I think that model could work. Maybe.
I think it could. What bothers me with that more than anything is the fact that what they're saying in essence is that if you don't bring anybody out, you're worthless.
Right.
No matter what you did to be able to play, no matter all the hours that you spent learning the songs and how to perform and how to be on a stage and all the time you spent setting up and driving to and from none of that was worth anything because you didn't make us money.
Right.
And it's like, well, I don't think that that's the case. I think that you're paying for entertainment. Like just in my, and I know that's probably not a very popular, that's probably a, Here's how it is. That's probably a very popular opinion amongst musicians, and it's probably a very unpopular opinion amongst venue owners.
You have to realize that that's kind of how their business model works. Is they're only paying their waiters and waitresses $2.83 an hour or whatever that is. So if it's a flop of a night, they lose next to nothing.
Right.
But if it's a good night, a good night's a good night. And the waiters and waitresses make a lot of money too.
Sure.
So I can see that business model for sure.
And if it's a good night, they get more money.
Right.
And they don't ever walk up to me at the end of the night. Like I've packed. I mean, you have too.
Yeah.
We've packed places before.
Sure.
Nobody's ever walked up to me at the end of the night and been like, "Hey, great job. Here's double your pay."
Right. It's happened. It's happened. Hey, here's an extra $50.
Extra $50. Yep.
Yeah. Something like that.
But nobody. Yeah. If because it's like a sniff test, right?
Yeah.
If all of my gigs were like, hey, if you don't bring anybody, you don't get paid. I don't know how many gigs in the last 4 years I'd have just been like, they would have walked up at the end of the night and been, you actually owe us for the water you were drinking. I'll be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, and you're right, though. It happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's so random whether you'll get a crowd or not.
Yeah.
You can't predict it.
There's 0 rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. I'll put out an event and I'll get 2 likes on it, right? And you're like, oh, shit.
Full room.
Right. And then I show up and there's literally 30 people that came out to see me of just whoever's.
Yep.
And it's like, what? Like, why can't you people like my post to give me some kind of idea of what I'm getting into tonight?
That's what I look at. Yeah, it's a back porch.
Yeah.
Like when I play there, I'll look. I'll be like, oh, there's 150 people interested in this show.
Right.
And then I'll get there and I'll be like, oh, that's
hi,
like
Mom.
20 people. Yeah. I'll be like, thanks for coming. So the one bar in our area that tried posting that lately, they were like, hey, we're going to do a set, like, if you're a solo act during the summer.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive this was what it was. Now, they have recently, okay, so I'll just lay out the story. So this bar recently, they were like, we're going to go to a model during our summer months when nobody usually comes out, where we're going to guarantee you a certain amount of money plus the sales.
Yes.
And they were going to give you like 5% of the sales plus your set fee. If you were a solo act, you were getting $100 for the 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a duo act, you get $150. And if you're a trio act, you get $250.
Yep.
So they posted that. it immediately got murderous feedback from musicians.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember the venue. I'm not going to name
probably,
drop, but yeah.
So the public, they chimed in, and the public was like, "Great idea! Thanks for keeping live music going." And the musicians are like, "You fucking cheapskate! You piece of shit!" Like they're like getting so much hate for it. They took the post down
and apologized.
Apologized.
Yeah.
And just talking to some of my friends in the scene, I was like, as a business owner, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's worse to like float the idea and then as soon as you get any pushback, just completely dump the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or if you should have stuck to your guns and been like, "Hey, I'm doing this," and explained why you were doing it, rather than just be like, "I'm so sorry. Please don't get angry at me."
It's a double-edged sword, and and I know that you know this, but a lot of these venue owners don't really know anything about live music.
Yeah.
They just don't. I think you were talking about that with Brandon Valentine on the podcast.
Yeah.
They just don't know how we operate and what we need, and how hard it is to do what we do.
Yeah.
And the time and effort and energy and gear and whatever.
What has to happen before we get there?
Right.
Like to even be able to do it.
Yeah. I worked for a booking company for a couple of years, and everybody in that company was not a musician.
Oh, that's not helpful.
And it was very difficult for me to convey how hard it is to do what we do. So I think that's a big part of it too. But I think when somebody offers something like that, I think it's your job as a musician to convince them of what value you're bringing them. Rather than just laying over and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take the deal." Be like, "No, you know what? This is the money that I need because here's what I can do for you, and I can provide X, Y, and Z." Another thing that I do, riding on the coattails of the gear thing and the live stream thing, is there's a way for me to live stream to that venue's Facebook page.
That's perfect.
Live.
Yeah.
It's super easy. It's called cross posting.
Okay.
So when I go live on my page, I'm also going live on the venue's page. So that's giving all their followers, everybody that follows their Facebook page sees in real time that there's live music and something going on. And it really helps to draw people, to bring people out.
Yeah.
Somebody that's maybe on their way home from work gets a notification that, let's use Copper Pub as an example. Copper Pub is live. Copper Pub's live, and click on it, and they see that there's live music going on. Maybe they swing in for a beer.
Yeah.
So it's providing value to that venue.
Do you have to have admin access to their Facebook?
You don't. Or? Maybe I should do a video on this too, because it's kind of tricky, but it's kind of easy at the same time. No, you just have to. You send them a link.
Okay.
And they have to approve it, which gives you rights to live stream on their page. It doesn't give them admin rights. It's just when I go live, I have a list of everybody who's given me rights to live stream on their page, and whatever venue I'm at, I click on that.
Very cool. Okay.
And then when I go live, it's automatically live on their page as well. So I do it for a few. Now I just started using that new software, that Prism.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out how to cross post with the Prism app.
I got you.
I think there's a way, but I don't know how to do it yet. So the last 2 months of shows I've done has not been live on the venue's page. But if you go back and look at any local live music establishment, you'll see my live videos right on their page.
Even now, is Beach Barrels, is that built in? Because they have like down there in Ocean City.
Yeah, they have a whole sound system. It's amazing what they're doing. I think every place should do what they're doing around here.
Yeah.
If every place had a live music setup, it's not hard. For a couple $100, you can have the gear that you need to live stream to your page for any entertainment that's going on. Even the trivia. If you're doing trivia, you can tap their microphone into a live stream, and people can just sit on their couch and answer some of your trivia questions and just get engaged with your content.
You think there's a mentality that they're like, well, if they do that, then people won't come out. And it's like, they're not coming out.
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, God damn it, I know the answers to these questions. Martha, get the car. We're going to count it. It works the exact opposite. If you just show them that something's going on and provide content to them, they're going to get involved. They're going to engage with it. If they live down the street, they're going to, not all of them, but it's going to entice them to get off the couch and come into your establishment.
Yep.
And it's new technology. I get it. It's scary.
Yeah.
But it can be done. And so when I book myself, I say, hey, here's what I can provide. All the equipment. I can provide an extra microphone if they want. I can give the bartender a wireless microphone. That they can sing. They can pass it around the bar and let them all sing along when I'm singing. Who cares?
I
love it.
Yeah.
But it's another line item that I can put. Like, here's what I can provide to you.
Right.
All the equipment, 600 cover songs, whatever it is, you list all these things. And I can even live stream directly to your the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So if you can list out all these things, you don't need to be cutting percentage deals. You say, here's what I'm worth and here's what I need to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So you have to, this is what I'm trying to convey to younger musicians that are doing these gigs for $100. Dude, you're worth $300, but bring $300 or $500 or $1,000, whatever it is. But bring that amount of money's value to that venue.
Right.
You know, and it might take time. And you might have to go do 100 open mics to perfect your thing. You might have to set your gear up in your basement and run it through 1,000,000 times until you perfect it.
A quadrillion times.
A quadrillion times.
Yeah.
But raise your value. Don't negotiate less money.
Right.
Raise your value and keep your value raised, and don't take no for an answer.
Right.
And it's totally possible to do that. And the venues will appreciate it because you're bringing something quality.
Yep.
And you're bringing all of these line items of value to this venue.
Right.
And that's the mentality that us musicians should have, rather than just.
It's a double-edged sword too, because if you charge too much and they don't feel like they're getting the value,
right,
you could price yourself right out of playing a venue.
Right. Absolutely. And
Sometimes.
I've done that many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's harder to convince others of the value that I bring.
Right.
Than it,
Right.
But yeah.
But I mean, I'm not saying that should be a reason not to do it, but I'm saying I know I did an episode on this way earlier in the podcast, but like if you're very honest and real with yourself about where you are, what you bring, if you're playing, no matter what you're doing, just be real with the entertainment value, which is most of what they're paying you for,
right,
is for you to entertain people.
Sure.
So if you can be real with yourself, you can come up with exactly what you should be charging.
Absolutely.
And then run with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's always venues, and I just had one the other day that reached out and they were like, "What's your minimum price?" And I give them my quote, and they're like, "Okay, what if we take an hour off? What's your minimum price?" Right. So there's some venues that they're just going to want as cheap as they can get.
Right.
And in most of those cases, I'll go down, like if it's, let's say it's 2 hours, right?
Right.
I'll be like $200. Mm-hmm. No matter what, 200 is my minimum. I don't care if I'm doing an hour. I don't care if it's a 3-hour show. If I have to get down to my minimum, I'm not going below 200.
Right.
And if I have to, I will go. And it's nothing against them. I just don't want to have to go shovel shit for a living. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So it's like,
absolutely.
I'll definitely just negotiate with them to 200. But after that, I'm like, thank you. Here's a list of people I know that might be interested.
Right.
Yeah.
And as long as I can meet in the middle with them, usually it's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're coming out of the gate, ask me what my absolute bare bones minimum I will play for.
Yeah.
I'm usually going to give them a higher price than what I typically do, because it's like a
little
bit
weird,
of like what.
Yeah.
I want to order your wings, but I don't really want to pay that. So you were charging $15 for wings, but will you do it for $7?
I'm more
like, how retarded does
I'm
that
more
sound?
in the $9 range for my wings.
Right.
It's like, well, you can't afford these wings then.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to come down on the wing price. Yeah. Like, do you know how much it took to make these wings?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
and it's the same with the musician. I mean, I'm bringing $5,000 worth of gear,
right,
or $4,000, $3,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing 25 years of experience of me playing and knowledge of how to put these songs together. Right. And there's a very high value of what I'm providing to you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about on the podcast today. So the open mic.
Yes.
That we were at over at Copper Pub.
Yes.
Megan and Dave hosted it. It was such a remarkable night to me, just to see the music scene kind of all together, everybody laughing and having fun. Yeah. It was so supportive. Like the fact that after every single person, it didn't matter what we were doing. Yep. I don't know how many times we were in the middle of a conversation, somebody stopped playing a song, and everybody clapped.
Absolutely.
Everybody was singing along.
A unique night.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was
to just have a lot of us, I don't know the word you want to call it, but a lot of us, popular heavy hitters in the area, solo musicians, all being in a room together on a Tuesday night, completely out of the blue.
It was, you know what it was? It was like the local, all the local kind of known musicians.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There was a large smattering of local known musicians.
Right.
That's the best way of not saying it as a weird way.
You know, my wife's not a musician, but I talked her into coming out that night because we don't live too far from Copper Pub. And she came out that night, and she has told me 10 times about how just great of a night it was. It was incredible. So much fun. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's another scene anywhere where they support each other the way that our area does. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing. And
I used to hear them say that on the one other like local podcast that's out. They would say that there's something special about our scene all the time, and they would just constantly be like, "There's something so special." And for the longest time, I was like, "I think it's like this everywhere." It's not like this everywhere. No. I've been other places now.
Right.
No. It's a lot of cutthroat.
Maybe there's some nooks and crannies. I know like Charlotte. I know a couple people that are in Charlotte, and they have a very big music scene, very supportive, and they all jam together all the time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So Charlotte has a pretty good scene going on. There's other pockets in the country, but I mean, just our little corner here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, we just got a great thing going on.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoy watching everybody's progress, and I learn a lot from all you guys, and I hope that I can do the same for others. And it's just it's a great experience to be a musician in central Pennsylvania.
It's nice right now.
Yeah, it is. It is nice right now.
It's nice right now.
But we need the people to come out and see us. We got to get the people off the couch and come out. And
where
nobody wins if everybody stays home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean I've been trying to get out and support more live music when I'm off right now.
Yeah,
because
I might go to the Doghouse tonight for an open mic just for the hell of it. My wife and I.
I didn't know there was one there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, maybe I gotta go.
Yeah, you can certainly come out.
I've been trying to get in there to play. So
my wife is taking my daughter to a Wallows concert tomorrow in New Jersey.
Yes.
So my wife won't be around for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
So me and my buddy, we're going to go out and see some live music tomorrow night. So
that's right.
I'm going to go on my first dude date tomorrow.
There's I think today. I saw it on my calendar. Today is Galentine's Day.
Yes.
And I was like, I just said to my girlfriend, I was like, Galentine, what the hell is that? And she's like, she just kind of looked at me like I was an idiot. And she's like, yeah, it's for like girls to like their girlfriend and it's it's their holiday. They don't need no mans.
Right. Well, funny enough, my daughter is 15, soon to be 16, and she's having a Galentine's night at our house this coming Saturday in 2 days. There's 15 girls coming to my house.
Holy crap.
Thank God they're not staying over. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
But they're doing a whole thing with, I don't know. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. I don't ask any questions. I just clean and cook stuff. And that's my job. And make sure nobody does anything dumb.
That sounds like a dad.
Yeah. But I'd never heard that word Galentine's Day until 3 weeks ago.
Really? Yeah. Yesterday to me. I was just like, okay, that's a very, I'm going to go see comedy. And I'm excited to see some comedy.
Nice.
I've been writing comedy material again.
You said that earlier. So you've done some stand up, huh?
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
That got me over my stage fright to be a musician.
Okay.
I didn't even play guitar before I started doing stand up comedy.
That's a real naked thing to do on stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll send you some jokes because I write jokes.
Oh,
Every time that I think of a joke that I create, I write it down.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for years, so I have this like long plethora of jokes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to comb through that.
Yeah. I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
They're no good just sitting in a notepad. So
we were watching a show last night where this guy was ghost hunting.
Yeah.
In some like 1600s mansion, and the whole time he's like setting up booby traps for ghosts.
Right.
Like they're just gonna. He's like, I've got some cat balls on the floor. Would you like to kick these cat balls? And I'm like, why would a ghost just like come over and kick it? He's like, you could kick it anytime you'd like to kick it, anytime you want to kick it. It would be just incredible if you would kick these cat balls. I'm like, if he says cat balls one more fucking time, like,
Jesus,
like what is wrong with this guy?
Did any ghosts come?
Never. And but you know what the worst part, dude, was that not only like the cat balls weren't working, right?
Right.
So he's like, so today I brought another tool to try, and he pulls out a laser pointer, and he's like, if you're here, break the plane.
Oh my gosh.
Break the plane. And he's like, kick the cat balls, break the plane,
Man.
I'm like, this guy is.
I can't bash the guy, man. Whatever brings you entertainment and whatever you like to do, do it. Don't let me stop you. But
I mean, it brought me entertainment.
Yeah. I would probably watch that.
I watched it for the comedic value. About halfway through, I was like, this guy is never going to find a ghost because he talks too much. Number one.
Right.
Like, stop. That ghost.
Be very, very quiet.
Yes. Yeah. Just watch for the ghost.
Yeah.
Why do you got to tell him to do stuff? You're like, I've set up an obstacle course for you, ghost. Yeah. Would you please come over? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Oh, my God.
That's not going to work.
I don't know.
So, any other gear questions that you got?
Well,
for me after.
So we covered a bunch of your gear stuff.
Yeah.
So we made a video, which you guys, hopefully when this episode drops, you'll be able to go check out the video on YouTube. We did a full video of Jason's pedal board setup, his entire system.
Yeah.
The cases that are behind him here, those two hold everything that he needs to play at a show besides his guitar. His guitar doesn't fit in there because they're not long enough. That's the only reason why.
That's right.
But speakers, iPad, he's got built-in chargers in the side of that thing. It rolls in and out. It's incredible. So
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to refer everybody to check out the video because it's very all-informative, and if you're looking to upgrade your setup or do something different or figure out how to live stream from your board and from just that one pedal board, he's got his mic stands mounted to it. So just check out the video, and
it's the mothership.
It is absolutely incredible. But yeah, man, I could let you go, and we'll wrap this thing up. I like it.
I've been wanting to do that.
Just give it two toms, a 2-tom slap. Tell everybody where to find you again, man.
You can just go to Facebook. It's easiest. It's just facebook.com/Jason Carst Music. Jason Carst Music.
Awesome. Yep. And you have a link tree, don't you?
I do. That's linktree.com/JCarst Music. So it's just JCarst Music.
I love
it. That takes you to everything. That's contact info, bio, song lists, Facebook page, YouTube page.
Perfect.
Everything. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah. For all you musicians out there that don't have Linktree, I highly recommend having Linktree. I think I pay $4 a month or something like that to have that link with all of my links in it. Yeah.
I have the free version.
Yeah.
And it just
it's great.
It's a lead generator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's
absolutely.
Great. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man.
Well, thank you, sir. Dave, you're killing it with all this podcast stuff and the new band and all that. It's good stuff, man.
Craziness.
Yeah,
Craziness.
keep it up.
To the moon. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for tuning in today. Your support keeps the music flowing. Every note and what I play means the world just to hear you know it. We'll see you next time. Don't stray by. Your love is our shining star. Keep the harmony.